Welcome back, Cyber Traders, on this lovely Wednesday. And today is the last day of the pay period. It is the 30th of April. Good to see you all. Anyway, nice little run on this JFBR. Hopefully everyone caught on to it around 8 o'clock this morning. What a beautiful run. Nice little inexpensive stock, $1.20 up to $1.80. I mean, I was just looking at some orders out here on level 4, looking at the right of the chart. Very nice little stock. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. That's going on the watch list. So JFBR. And you know what? Kind of sucks if you can't have access to direct access in pre-market. So, this is why people love day trading. Anyway, what's going on? I don't know what just happened, but probably within, I don't know, just 8 o'clock this morning, some reports came out and the market just tanked. Yeah, the GDP numbers came down. Is that what it was? The Q1s? And it was not looking good. The stock just basically just turned down big time. You could see everything is red everywhere. Only thing that's still up is that Nuvo, which we all know why that's up. It's that new merger they did with HIMS, but interesting that it's up. But everything is just bleeding everywhere, all over the place. So those numbers do not look good as of right now. Swing trading, if you're long, you're wrong. If you're short, you're right. We're doing pretty well on our swings, though. A lot of the stocks are just basically hovering right at those highs. So inflation is still out there, John. Yep, I see that too. And it's going to probably be out there with the tariffs. I mean, the tariffs ain't going to help. But listen, while we're playing your chess, those people are playing checkers. That's the way I kind of look at it. We just have to just sit and wait and see. But fortunately, listen, this will work out. The big news that we have to focus on, though, and I don't know if it's going to really make a big impact yet, but we got a lot of big earnings announcements coming out. You have Apple coming out, you got Microsoft coming out, you got AMD, you got Caterpillar, Starbucks. The big one is going to be Apple, and was it also we have Amazon that's coming out. So we'll basically need to focus on what those are going to be doing. And they start today and tomorrow. There's the actual report right there. Thanks for sharing that. Let me put that in the room. There it is. Here's Wednesday. So you got Microsoft, Meta, you got Meta, Facebook out there. You got Amazon, Eli Lilly tomorrow. So the big ones are going on today. Not really a lot of big in the morning. It's going to start this afternoon. So, we have fun. It's a big, big week when it comes to earnings. All right. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Now, regarding about what moved yesterday was a pretty I don't know. I feel like, Monday and Tuesday were kind of slow. We did get a couple of good little moves on certain stocks out there. Palantir is still moving. PLTR is still doing great. You could see it's getting close, got really close to the all-time high right there, around 120. It's taking a big hit right now. I mean, obviously that defense contract that signed up with NATO, doing well with that one. LEG. Oops. Well, there we go. That one moved up pretty nicely too yesterday. Let me just bring this up. There you go. Nice little push there. You could see its stock went from like 7 up to 9. That one did well here. Let me change the slide here so you guys can see a little bit better online. There you go. There we go. All right. So that one did okay. HIMS, obviously, in the pre-market did really well with that merger with Nuvo and VO, teaming up with selling the Wagovi. So that did pretty well. LFMD, we had that one too. Still holding pretty strong here. LFMD at those highs, even though it didn't really back off. NEO, good short on that one. I don't know if it was on your short list. It wasn't on mine, but let me tell you, it still looked like it's going lower. But you could see the trend is your friend. You don't want to buck the trend. And Weight Watchers did really well because Weight Watchers obviously came out with some news with Eli Lilly about teaming up with them. That one did really well too. Very inexpensive stock. Stock was 15 cents, literally like 3 days ago. And we test all the way back to $1. So I'm putting that on my watch list. Had a really nice push. You could see it right there at 9 a.m. Ran from like 30 cents. Went all the way up, even when the market opened up, shot up to about that 87, came back down, went back up. So really doing pretty good, even after file bankruptcy. All right. Now let's go through the watch list really quick and see what's going on. So you got a merger, I don't know if it's looks like a buyout maybe, but this RGLS looks like it's shot. So just you can see when you see a line like that, That's how you know it's a buyout or something. So that stock has been doing unbelievable. Was at $1.74, has been up every day. Obviously, somebody knew something. Otherwise, and we trade that stock many times, but obviously we're going to scratch that off our list. We already know about the JFBR. That one's already made the list over there. What else we got going on? This one, obviously, an ETF. Going to stay away from that. IPO, stay away from that. That's on a downtrend. This one, not really moving that much. Ugly spread. And by the way, I want to make a comment regarding about some of the traders in the room. And you guys know this. And, we always like to point this out. One of the most important things that you learn when you take a course with Cybertrading University, and for some of you on social media, if you're interested jumping in our courses, you always should take the phone, scan the QR code in the top left-hand corner. But the number one reason why people fail, okay, is they trade things that are not tradable. So you'll notice in the trading room, we're always saying, hey, that's a category 4. We go from 1 to 5, and depending on where you are, some stocks are in your league and some of them not. So we're always out there trying to be very proactive to kind of tell you, hey, the stock is way too fast. And some of you don't know that until you go through the phase 1 lesson when we talk about tradable and non-tradable. So if you wonder why you lose money on certain stocks and say, I don't understand, I was profit, how to become a loser, a lot has to do with the spread, okay? So that's why I'm pointing that out, because some of these stocks, we'll see them and like, but that looks like a nice mover. It's cheap, whatever. Spread does not look good. Even this one right here, look, tier size is very thin, big spread, not really we want to look at. This one, on the other hand, not bad, but is it really trending? You know what? List looks pretty small, so I really don't. We need to put something on there. This one, great spread, 5 million shares. Shot up here at 830, went to about $1.60, back down to $1. It is very volatile, I can tell you that. FRGT. Let me go check out level 4. FRGT. Let's see what we got going on this stock right here. Yeah, you had some big orders that showed up right around here and started to trend down. So not the prettiest lines, not the prettiest orders out there. All right, let's work our way down that list. And we just broke under 10%. And when we do that, we don't go any lower. All right. Losers. What do we got going on over here? Wow, these things are getting destroyed. Destroyed. So these are all ETFs, and it has to do with supercomputers. So supercomputers taking a very big hit. Did they come out with they must have came out with their earnings, right? Is that why? Yeah, earnings. You see that right there. Boom. Terrible right there. Well, we know there are support levels right here. So it did hit a low of 28. Looks like it's going to break it. SMCI. So that's not looking good for SMCI. And you can see these are all the ETFs that are out there that trade side by side with it. What else? Any other big losers? This one's expensive. We're going to pass on that one. FSR. Didn't I just tell you yesterday we were talking about FSR? And I said about the Sol, I said, you know what? FSR has come out of earnings, and I probably bet it's not going to be good. And sure enough, it did exactly what I thought it was, right? And a lot of as with policies, and I was just talking about this. I was saying, your President Trump is trying to get, obviously he's drill baby drill. He's not green baby green. And it just said, by him getting elected, this might hurt the stock a lot. And sure enough, boom. I know he's going to be taking away a lot of the subsidies, so that is going to be a big effect on that company. So FSLR, we'll put it on the watch list. Just kind of like I told you, policies, don't take it personal. You just got to take it, got to take it with a grain of salt. We hear all the inverts of the stocks out there. These are all ETFs that are doing the opposite on NVIDIA, on Tesla. All those are basically in the gainers. That's why they're in there. So it looks like a pretty crazy market right now. Here's the other one. Snapchat. There you go. Another stock testing support levels. SNAP. Wow, that was not good for Snapchat. You know what? It's going to be an AI thing, but Meta's going to be a pretty big one today. Meta's going to be a really, really, really big one. Norwegian Cruise Lines, that one did a hell of a slingshot right there. I think that pretty much does it. What are here in the most active? This one has some great volume, but I think I said we don't want to trade that because of that. Ooh, come on, TSL. I own that stock right there. And we know this one. This one looks pretty strong. All right. Any stock I'm missing I did not call up. Starbucks took a hit. Expensive, though. Yeah, they had their earnings, and you could see how that stock went from 85 down to 76. Yeah, you know what? That stock really is taking a big hit. My God, I didn't even realize that since March, all the way down to 77. Listen, there's a lot of support levels here around 72. You know, whoever ever missed a boat and says, I'm not a fan of Starbucks. I'm not a fan of Starbucks. I think they're very overpriced. Great marketers, great marketers did a great job. And I know that they're having their own issues with their unions and employees and, just everything there. So, but they got a lot of damn stores. The new CEO, right? Everything on that too. So you could see that, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy it if I can get it cheap enough. Support, right? So let's keep an eye on that on a swing trade. Definitely going to be interested on a Starbucks. I haven't traded that stock in a long time. All right. They have problems in China, Bill? Oh, is that what the news is on that one? All right. Well, listen, everyone's saying about this whole China thing. I'm still very skeptical. I don't think China is going to go down easy. They are not bending too easily right now. So somebody is obviously going to have to give sooner or later, or compromise. But I think this is going to drag out a little bit longer than you think. Chuck is saying gold and silver are bouncing back up. GLD. Yep, gold's been doing great. Took a little bit of a hit right there, but yeah, gold's looking pretty strong. Obviously, it's the invert of what's going on in the market. Had a grand Americano yesterday with extra shot, $5 you paid. Well, by the way, you know what? I'm going to ask everybody a question before we leave. Does anybody know why they call it Americano? Just give me a yes or no in the room. Anybody know why they call it Americano? It's a cup of coffee, but why Americano? Why is one called Americano? Nobody knows? Wow, I get a lot of no's. Andrea, you know why, because you're Italian. All right. So the reason why they call it's big. I'm going to tell you exactly why. So before we leave and get ready for the morning meeting, I'm going to leave you off with this. The reason why they call Americano is that when the Americans helped the Italians to fight in, I think it was World War I, when the Americans were there, the Italians drink espresso, and in American coffee, it's like, we don't drink espresso. We like to drink a cup of coffee, right? So the only way to make it similar to an American coffee is they took the espresso and poured it in hot water, and then there they had the cup of coffee. So that's how they got the Americano. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? There you go. There's your lesson for the day. All right. Now let's go make some money in the market opening up soon. All right, guys. So let's get ready. We've got a pretty decent list here. Let's just be a little cautious. Market is down. We're probably going to get a couple of bounces over here on those numbers. See, listen, when you got bad numbers like that, and if when you get the worst of the worst of the worst news and the market doesn't go any lower, that's actually a good sign to go long. So let's see if that really is going to affect the market. Good luck, everybody. Happy trading. We'll be back in 15 minutes. If you're watching on social media before we go, I'm going to be doing, we're going to be back here at 11 o'clock with our podcast. I am going to be doing it with Josh. Jack got ill, so he had to cancel. So I'm going to do it with Josh. The other, obviously, everybody knows Josh, the other senior instructor at CyberTrading University. So we're going to do it today together. So that will be fun. So don't miss that. We'll broadcast on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing open house tomorrow. So take your phone, scan the QR code, top left-hand corner, register for it. We'll see you on the trading room. Cyber Group members, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in less than 15 minutes and trade this market live. Good luck, everybody. Trade safe.